mama to feed the children down the lane. Respect goes out to her. Respect the hustlers in the streets, finding out a way to agree. Respect goes out to her. Respect your mama working the brain to feed the children down the lane. Respect goes out to her.
99.9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so time here in SVG, it is 8:09, and we are back with you for another commentary of today's Activated Mornings program. And as with every Monday morning, we have our third host here in studio, all right? That being Dr. Gerald. Good Lord, my voice. All right, I don't know. All right, Dr. Gerald Thompson. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, your voice sounds deep, boy. Hey.
No, well, Dianna was saying.
You nasal.
My voice sounds as if I have a cold. I was telling her allergy, but I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm top of my game.
Yeah, you're ready for Dave this morning?
Dave?
Dave? Your good friend Dave?
Oh, come on. Listen, what inspired me this morning was your comment about generations. Your discussion with Joshua, how the generations merge. And I felt that, maybe I'm a part of that process. I found out over the weekend that I used to teach your mother. That I was your mother's teacher at the girls' high school.
Okay. Did I know this? I'm trying to figure out if I knew this before.
I told her, she had heard, she came up to me and she told me about the previous conversations that we had on radio. And she revealed, and because I used to be a runner, I used to be 800 meters running with your father and so forth like that. I now remember certain things in detail. I was there. I was right there when all this was happening. Yes,
give me the comments. Give me the comments after.
Well, okay, yes.
Mommy?
Yes, after. Yes, I was right there. That was involved. But imagine that. I was your mom's teacher, and today I'm learning from you. You understand?
That's how it should be, man.
It's nice. And I look at the generations merge and so on. And yes, I grew up with Memorial Days and Veteran Days and all these poppies when I lived in England. It's not so much part of our culture. And I remember how when we went, those Veteran Days thing, not that because a lot of the veterans may have passed away. We have the amount of people who are now in the British Army, who are in the US Army, who are in the Canadian Mounties and Army and so forth. There's a lot of incentives engaged. But in truth, other things have taken over as part of a culture, because you could only have so many holidays. You know what I mean? You could only have so many holidays. The more holidays you have, it starts to have a decline in your set. But you must have holidays, but you can't have too many. That's the point.
Okay.
So I knew of you
before my existence.
Before you knew of yourself.
Yeah, I realized. All right, this is interesting. We will talk off air.
Yes.
All right. Okay, but how was your weekend though?
Weekend fine. A lot of rain, a lot of things, a lot of flooding, and so having to deal with that. That's the main thing. But nice weekend. I was down in Chateaubriand yesterday. It's wonderful being in these. Dianna, how often are you down in Chateaubriand? Dianna?
All right.
Yes. Dianna, how often are you down in Chateaubriand?
We have a caller though. Let me.
Not often.
We have a caller. Let me take this call. All right. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning to my Christian friend, Dr. Gerald Thompson, who speaks so honestly from his heart. And I was happy I heard him said that he knew you before you were born. Something like that. Wow. That's a visionary boy.
But Dave, stop it. You know what that meant. You know any context of that meant.
Yes. You see,
All right. You should tell me stop it.
No, but you know something.
Let me stop it. You hear?
Yeah. Do you like this morning where it was said that some people ain't here, you're not supposed to drive past that bridge, and they still drive past, and people ain't hearing properly. Dave, you got to hear properly, you know. But I think sometimes it's deliberate.
My character, I don't mind.
What?
But I say you could question my character. I don't mind.
Dave, you're the least person one wants to fight with and question character.
I have nothing
you
to
have an
lose.
immaculate character, man. I'm telling you. You have an immaculate character.
Doc, you're good enough.
Yeah, man.
My mind, anyway, never leave it alone.
Dave,
Anyhow,
let's get on to some real news. This stuff is not about me and you and so forth. Come on, let's get on
this country pack all kind of issues, you know. Make me remember a man like Donald Trump who just won. Could you imagine that?
Wow.
A crook like Donald Trump? 34 charges. So wait now, you are, I think you must be still a U.S. citizen. So tell me, because he come president, America needs to do something about the laws. This one needs amending. A man with 34 charges. Stormy Daniel, that nice prostitute that he had an affair with. Boy, yeah, I live in the wrong world, you know. I don't believe I'm living in God's world.
Dave,
I live in the wrong world. I live in the wrong world. This ain't the world for me. Father Jesus, take my life as soon as you can. Because I can't put up with this. I just can't put up with it. And I'm speaking my mind. I just can't put up with this. Right? So, when you look at the evils that is taking place right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it is just sickening, disgusting. I ain't begging up for nobody to be friend with me, you know. I don't want nobody to be friend with me. And then they turn back and they say all the negative things about me. No. Right? I want genuine people. And you can't tell me St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the best country or best people in the world. You can't tell me that.
Of course, because my country, Dave. I can't how you do my country, so it's the best country, yes. Come on.
My country,
but you just say you can't say it's the best country by telling you it's the best country, you're the best people.
Okay, that's your opinion. And
no, it's a fact.
A fact, all right. You see, today Robert stop garbage and nonsense.
Oh, Dave, you just go on some tangent sometimes, you know. All right, Dave. All right. Okay, Doc. Okay. Anything that you wanted to?
No, talk about today.
All right.
Really dive into them.
Okay. So first up, so just a general discussion. So there was an article, and this is what Dave actually made mention of it last week. So we're reading from St. Vincent Times, where Methodist minister calls for church to prioritize faith over politics. In a nation divided by political tribalism and where institutional foundations have been undermined by partisan influences, Methodist Church Minister Reverend Afisha Millett observes that the church in St. Vincent and the Grenadines prioritizes the promotion of political agendas over the pursuit of salvation. Reverend Millett remarked while delivering the sermon during the morning service at the Kingston Methodist Church on Independence Day. In her sermon, drawn from the Old Testament book of Jonah, she compared the church to Jonah, who was summoned by God to serve and turned unfaithful, disobedient, and rebellious. It is not true that the church in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, similar to Jonah, often regards God's call upon our lives as merely a pastime. In our pursuit of our own agendas, the church seems to prioritize building strategic plans, political gains, and the quest for recognition and alliances with the world and influential figures, the Methodist minister suggested. All right. So, what are your views on this? Right, the article does go on for a little bit more, and generally know that there should be a separation between church and state. But in the views or the opinions of Reverend Millet, she says that her opinion is that the church does prioritize faith over politics.
I think that's the Bible being fulfilled. Is it in it?
Oh, I don't know.
I think somewhere in the Bible well, I could be wrong, you could call and let me know. But I'm pretty sure I've heard something mentioned of the church and the state, which was supposed to be separated, but becoming more and more, as one, coming closer to the end times. I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know, please. But I just felt like saying that. It's interesting. I cannot share the thoughts that I thought about, the things that came on my mind when I think of this. I cannot share them just yet. I don't think that the world is ready for that opinion just yet. And I am fairly new to this. So before I...
Yes.
Doc, go ahead. Yes.
I think it's a bit of... I like what was said. And it's probably going to appeal in some respect. Having had somebody just talk about Donald Trump and America, and maybe saying that America's some people say America's the greatest nation on earth, as opposed to St. Vincent being great. And that's an interesting discussion itself. Another topic that we may well touch on is that the Christian Council has not been speaking out about crime and about this and so forth.
Well, interesting.
Let me frame this properly.
No, I was just going to say they actually did make a release. I think it was...
Of course.
Right,
yes,
last week.
So they made a release. So I was going to come to that. So that on one hand, a minister saying that the church should be focused on faith and that it should not have much to do with, somebody say politics. You must mean partisan, but as opposed to everyday aspects of life, which means crime, which means theft, which means all sorts of things. And then on the other hand, somebody saying that the Christian Council should speak out more, and that when they did speak out, it was too late. It's of no use now because it should have come before. Which one is correct? When I read my 10 commandments, commandment number 6 said, thou shalt not murder. Commandment number 8 says, thou shalt not steal. And there are others that can be applied, but may not be aspects of law in itself. But those two are. And when we talk about crime, we are not only talking about murders and the 41 that we've had, we also talk about burglary, we also talking about rape, we also talk about aspects of coveting and the way kids are treated or not treated. So that I believe that the church, while it has to also talk about faith, it does to some extent have to talk about the various things in life, that affect us and confront us, because those are the realities of today.
But talking about social issues isn't quite the same as politics, though.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not sure if somebody's saying, oh, the church is just involved in people high places and so forth. No, there's a minister who might be give an opening prayer or something like that. And I've heard a couple of sermons where pastors have a right maybe to support one party. But I do not think the church, the Baptist, the Pentecostal, the Evangelical, the Methodist, the Anglican, the Catholic, basically have gone in one direction or the other. No, I can't really see that.
I think I remember there was one instance.
One instance.
Yeah. I can't speak with too much authority on this because I don't go to church. So
it don't matter.
No, I actually don't. No, I don't. Dr. Thompson's like, what? Yes, Doc, no. I don't.
I'm shocked.
No, but I do listen to a church sermon every Sunday, at least 2. But anyways, not to get into that, right? Yeah. I attend virtual church. Just leave it at that. Right. But I think during the referendum, I was actually disappointed to hear some ministers coming out and advocating that persons go out and vote in favor of it, right? I thought that for me at that point in time, that it really should just be left up to the committee to hammer home their points in terms of why persons should have voted for it. And hearing it coming from church ministers at the time, it kind of didn't sit well with me.
Okay, but that is one instance,
right? So that's what I'm saying. But I can't speak about other churches or ministers speaking about politics because number one, I don't attend all the churches.
No, but politics is not necessarily says not necessarily vote for this party versus that party.
She was making reference to partisan politics.
Yes, she's making reference to party, and they must go back to faith, as if there's no aspect of faith and that everything is partisan. But when I'm in church, I do not really hear the hardcore partisan politics in that frank, open way all the time in every single church that I go to. No, I don't. Every now and again, something slips in. You know what I mean? But those are
But slipping in what context?
No,
slipping in what way?
Because something may be an issue of the day. Something may be the issue. A referendum of 2010 from 15 years ago was an issue of the day. You know, in terms of crime today, I think the church has to be very much involved. Now, is that faith or is that politics? In other words, if another person says the Christian Council is not speaking out about crime and why this crime and the government ain't doing enough about crime and so forth. You know what I mean? I think that they should be speaking on crime because that is the way in which they're able to reach their parishioners.
I don't think that's the politics. The crime is a different thing than the politics.
Well, what is politics?
So
that's
the
whole
party
point.
Politics
I should have. No, but you've added party politics. But politics, it's so broad. It's our way of life. Politics includes taxes.
That's why I brought it down to party politics because I know that.
And so why I'm saying to you is I do not see a lot of passes every single day, every single week talking party politics. If that is the case, then I'm wrong. I stand down. I stand corrected.
It's interesting that when she because I was actually listening to the live broadcast of this, and when she made that point, there were a lot of persons in that church who were clapping. So I don't know if that's an indication of many persons in agreement in terms of it happening in that particular church, or if it is just the regular view of some Christians that there are too many ministers who are involved in political points or hammering home points to persons.
Just the other day,
in a partisan way, that is.
Just the other day, we had an interview with a representative from Central Leeward, who at some point in time was a pastor and a preacher in a church. Now, that doesn't disqualify him, you know what I mean? And it should not probably disqualify him from going back and preach.
That's interesting. Should a Christian run for politics? But anyways, just came to me there. But anyway.
It doesn't restrict. If you go back and you see there's a very Girlie McGill was a very Christian individual.
I do not believe it is the personal opinion of Dianna Cain that party politics, if I must break it down to that, and Christianity cannot go together for the simple fact that when you look at politics or party politics, what it does is promote division, because there's no way you could tell me that promotes unity when there are separate parties, when leaders of the parties and aspiring leaders get on platforms and say this party is this way and this party. You can't tell me you are anybody of God and you on so Sunday morning, hallelujah, praise the Lord, love one another, and then Monday morning, this party is so, and these people from this party is the. That's crazy to me. That cannot.
Well, on one hand, a human being is able to. Have you heard of Christian nationalism?
No, probably not.
Well, listen, Christian nationalism is what probably won the election for Donald Trump. And Christian nationalism, many of you who listen here today, you will look it up, you basically will be able to see that there's been a coalition of certain Christian faiths and so forth to support the Republican Party in the United States.
They want to do.
Huh? No,
because mankind would do whatever they want to do at their convenience. Once they have enough money and power, they could do whatever they want.
Let us shift a little bit
and make up whatever they want to
Let us shift to religion. What about the Hindu faith? What about the Muslim faith? What about the Jewish faith? What about various other faiths around the world? Matter of fact, the Muslim faith occupies the larger faith around the world. And basically, there's lots of things that are prohibited and so on to those particular religions. So I agree with you, but at the same time, just countering what you're saying, I must do that, is that whether I am a preacher and I'm able to preach the faith, I as an individual may have some views about a pothole.
Well, then you
about
should
taxes I'm paying.
No, Dr. Thompson, to me that is different. Now, if you say you want to have a voice in the party politics, I'm not talking about commenting on issues
That's
in
what
the
I'm talking
country.
about.
That's fine.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, okay.
Well, see,
okay.
that's why we're oscillating back between party politics and politics. And
no, it's sticking with party politics.
No, but the point about it is that if I am saying that I don't like that pothole, that road need fixing.
How is that party politics?
It's not. It's not party politics, but I'm saying that we're straddling, going back and forth. And once I am talking about that particular thing, you know that. Now, on the other hand, if the question really is asked, can somebody who is a preacher run for politics? You know what I mean?
Christian.
Yes, Christian. And what you're asking, Dianna, should somebody who basically maybe into the politics preach?
All right, let's take a pause here because we're expecting a call from courts. We should. So let's see if this is Hi, caller. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
I would say politics is the organization of the people's business for the benefit of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's not my original.
When you, all right, when you phrase it that way, it's
he's right. He's correct.
It's not that he isn't
for the benefit of the people part that's getting me.
No, Dianna, we keep shifting
that's
things
what
over.
Politics is. I am not saying that is what been practiced.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what politics is. The organization of the people's business for the benefit of the people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the question that I asked with Christians running for politics, given your definition, what do you think that with how it is now, that is okay?
Before I proceed to answer that question, I would ask you a question. I'm not answering the question with this question, but I'll ask you this question. What's your definition of a Christian? Who is a Christian?
Why? I suppose this is it in truth. Somebody who preaches, not just preaches, practices the word of God to the best of their ability. In that the whole loving one another, looking out for each other, in a little bit of a way, somewhat self-sacrificing as well.
Christian of faith or a religion?
Christianity is...
It's both.
Yeah, I think it's both, yeah.
Definitely a religion, and it's also a faith.
Yeah, I think it's both.
I think it's a religion. It's a religion.
It's a religion.
But then your faith is in what? What
is what you practice, right?
Exactly. Now, all of us, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, whoever you are, live in the society. Yeah. And we are affected and impacted by what happens in the society. Exactly. Aren't we?
Yes, I agree with you.
So then, if politics is the organization of the people, business for the benefit of the people, we live in the society, we are the people of the society, why can't we get involved in politics to organize the business of the people for the benefit of the people?
But given what currently happens, that we know of politics in terms of the pulling down, the tearing down.
So that's part of it. There's also
I know it's part of it, but what I'm saying is that would you as a Christian look to get involved in something like that?
Exactly.
Unless there are going to be several of you who are like-minded, who are not going to be partisan, who are not going to be tribal. If all of you get together, then it might be a different story. But what it is that we currently have is not that.
Well, that is why somebody's asking the question, why hasn't the Christian Council talked
the Christian
about
Council
the people's business?
Is another discussion, I want us to get there.
Christianity is about morality.
Yeah,
that's my understanding of it. They try to walk the moral highway. Isn't crime in society a moral issue? Isn't it?
It is.
Man,
So
hit to the
if
nose.
it's a moral issue and they are promoting the moral highway, why shouldn't they speak about it? Speak
I
out
think
about
we're
it.
discussing two different things there because now I'm lost.
No. Diana, don't get lost. This caller
We are not lost.
is
Just
hitting
talking
the
this
nail
stuff.
on the head. Caller, man, I tell you
Which
something.
head is that?
Let me stop speaking. You talk. Talk your talk. Caller, talk your talk.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
Although your code's coming in,
Caller,
caller.
yeah, we do have.
All of course is
Caller, we actually do have our quotes. So can you take this back up? Can you call back after quotes first, please?
I will see if I can do that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's go right ahead. All righty. Good morning. Quotes ready, Cash. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
We're good.
Okay, great. Okay, so good morning to all of the listeners out there. I'm just here this morning to let you guys know about our current promotion that we have in store, our current Black Friday promotion, that is. So, for our Black Friday promotion, any loan that you take in the month of November, you get a month break and you pay in the month of January. So you take a loan in November, you pay nothing in December, and you make your payment in January. That's Black Friday promotion. Of course, we have our regular cash loan. We have our regular loans in store, which is 2 pieces of ID, proof of address in a form for utilities bill, job letter, and your payslip. Now, the thing with the payslip, if you get paid fortnightly, it'll be the last two, the most recent two. If you get paid weekly, you bring in the full. You bring in full payslips. So if you get fortnightly, it's 2. If you get paid weekly, it's 4. Loans, we not like $1,000 in your pocket to take you through the season. Stock up on like a grocery or whatever the case may be. That's where our payday loans come in. Now, our payday loans is from $300 to $1,000. You must repay within 3 months, and they're interest free. No interest on them, so you pay within 3 months. Again, it's from $300 to $1,000. You pay. Now, for our business owners and our agriculture farmers, we have something for you as well. Our business loans. It's the same 2 pieces of ID. The business must be in operation for at least 1 year, and the business must have a fixed location. You bring in the same utility bill in your name. If you don't have a bill in your name, you could use a bank statement. Now, we'll need a proof of purchases or sales record for at least 3 months. Now, we know that not everybody who has a business would always go to the bank to bank their money or something like that. Most people, they write it down in a notebook. Like if they have a little shop, they may write down how much they make at the end of each day. So if you have that notebook, you can bring that book to us and we can copy it from there and, to say that, hey, this person makes such and such by the week, whatever the case may be. If you have a receipt book, you can bring the receipt book as well. Now, we're open from Mondays to Fridays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We're located opposite the post office right after Lady G. You just come by the door, you knock on the door, the security will let you in. Our contact information is 494-5380. If you have any questions, you can WhatsApp us on that number as well and call us on that number as well. Our other contact number is 493-7623. Again, we're open Mondays to Fridays from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We're located right opposite the post office, right after Lady G. If you need to reach us, you can reach us at 494-5380 with any questions, okay?
Okay.
That's all I have for you guys this morning.
All right, great. And thank you very much for calling us this morning. And we look forward to hearing.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Look forward to hearing from you again next week. All right?
All righty, bye-bye.
All right, bye. And that was our quotes desk for today. We are going to take a quick commercial break and then be right back with our very interesting topic for this morning.
Just for you at Quartz Optical. Get 15% off. When you bring in your prescription from any other eye care provider, we'll give you 15% off the cost of your frames and lenses. So visit us today and get 15% off. Offer valid on cash and credit purchases. Conditions apply. See in-store for details. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
First National Bank is pleased pleased to offer Vincentians the First National Bank Reserve. Get an unsecured loan of up to $30,000 for roof repairs, water tanks, generators, or any other protective measures. No deposit required, with interest rates as low as 8%. It's the First National Bank Reserve. Visit us at Heritage Square or call 456-1501 for more information. First National Bank Reserve, preserving the livelihood of all Vincentians. Terms and conditions apply. First National Bank, here for you.
Alan Smith and Family Bakery, the worldwide name for all your bakery needs, specializing in wedding cakes, birthday cakes, the world famous hard dough and light dough, multi-grain by special order, and now available baguette bread at all your leading supermarket outlets. And for that sweet tooth, currant rolls, jam buns, homemade sweet bread, guava and apple tarts, butter and oatmeal cookies, and for your savory needs, beef and chicken patties. Alan Smith and Family Bakery supplies bread to the Grenadines, Leeward and Woodward side of the island. Contact us at Alan Smith Family Bakery at gmail.com. Call us 457-8317, 457-8550, or 533-0943. Located along the main road in Camden Park Industrial Estate, we are the healthy choice. All our products are made with 0 grams trans fat ingredients. Quality is our passion. We open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Saturdays, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sundays and public holidays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you for your patronage over the years and for your continued support in the years ahead.
Boy, so you getting crashing now? Your brakes real good, boy.
Now brakes alone good enough. My tires good too.
Tires? Where you get them tires, boy?
Out by Caribbean Tire Plus, man. They out in Addersville. Can't miss it. Look for the orange container on them. Plenty parking space and open 7 days a week all thing, man. Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call them today. Caribbean Tire Plus, 784-432-4786 or email ctiresplus@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Our industry relies on all of us to play our part. We take pride in showcasing our beautiful island, our craft, our cuisine, and our warm Vincentian hospitality.
Each of us play a crucial role in showcasing our vibrant tourism industry. We can create spaces where visitors can unwind, connect with nature, and embrace tranquility of our beautiful surroundings.
We need everyone on board to help us create an exceptional experience for our guests.
Join us at our National Tourism Community Consultations as we shape the future of tourism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's everyone's business, yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it. If you're working for a while, come by Courts, I'll make you smile. Courts Black Friday come around. We are the best prices in town. Yeah, it's back, Courts Black Friday. I tell you, hurry fast, traffic on the highway. You know we got unbeatable prices. And furniture, electronics and appliances. Are you coming, say yeah? Weekly prices. Biggest and best deals of this season. Shop and credit to win big. And when you figure till next year, February, rock out and come down to Courts. Courts already load. Courts already load. Courts already load. When Black Friday come out.
99.9 WEFM. WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so we are back with you for our commentary segment on today's Activated Mornings program. You have in studio Dianna Cain, Dr. Gerald Thompson, and myself, Roleza Samuel, and we started a conversation regarding the role of church or should churches be involved in politics, right? And this is actually stemming from a sermon that was delivered by Methodist minister Afisha Millett, asking for churches to prioritize faith over politics. All right. So we were saying, well, it boiled down to me asking a question. Should Christians be involved in politics, in active politics, right? So there is a...
No, you and that's where the thing,
Mhm.
should they be involved in politics, active politics? And then Dianna was trying to recoin the term party politics. So are you asking, should Christian be involved in party politics or
Party
politics or
politics.
active politics?
Party politics.
So you're changing it now from
So-
broad
I think
politics.
that's what she meant,
yeah.
but usually that's what we mean, but we just forget to add the specific
No, because
part.
I am telling you why this stuff merges and blurs. Because there isn't a straight line that separates these politics from active politics, from party politics. You know what I mean?
It's party politics. I'm not talking about politics being of and for the people, not that context. That is more of a social element. But the party politics is what I'm looking at.
But I'm trying to also point out that these things blur, because once you I brought up the word Christian nationalism, and in the United States, the church put out statements that if a woman is going to vote differently to her husband, it is analogous to adultery. You understand?
You being serious?
Because Michelle Obama and others were saying to persons, if you listen, your husband wouldn't know who you vote. Vote your conscience, vote your faith, vote what you're thinking. And the counter to that was that if someone goes and votes differently to her husband, it is analogous to adultery. You know what I mean? Now, somebody could call and say, Dr. Thompson, you're wrong. You misunderstood it. But, I've been following that. You know what I mean? Now, I could start going through other countries in terms of the Catholic faith, like the Hindu, as a caller mentioned, the Muslim faith, the Ayatollah basically is a religious figure and basically, reigns supreme. There are lots of issues that deal with faith, and there are other lots of issues that would deal with some bigger aspects of politics, national politics, and so forth. And we blur all of them because one issue might come out. But it's a hodgepodge of mixture, big bowl of many things thrown in, right? And you can't pull out one thing. Now, I may be an individual who may be affiliated with a political party. I can't come here and deny I'm not. You know what I mean, Dianna? I can't come here and deny that I'm not. Everybody knows that. So therefore, somebody will say Thompson should not be on that program because he's biased and he his views are biased. But I have my own individual views too, and so I am saying that a preacher, he may have gone into the faith not at the age of 10 years old all his life. He may have entered in at a particular stage, may have certain things, family members and so forth that he may have his own personal views.
But then he's also in a position of influence.
Yes.
And can his personal choices cause, let's say, the congregation to be influenced by his personal choice?
Well,
is there that separation?
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it happens. But I think in this was saying that this is so rife. This is so rampant. Now, who knows? That Methodist minister may be saying that there are persons, I know, there are people in the Methodist who might be more associated with an NDP, and there are others, might be otherwise. But I'm a Methodist. Going to church, I have not picked up that there was, I've not really picked that up. You know what I mean? Alpian Allen was an NDP minister. He became a local preacher after and preached inside the church.
But that's after, you could always repent of your sins and go
do you
after,
see? Do you see? Hear what I say? Listen.
After.
That's where the question came up.
Back.
That's the question. If you are a Christian, should you be involved in politics? And if you are in politics, should you
party politics? Can you be? You just corrected me. Party politics.
Can you be in a Christian and so forth? And she was coming down to say you must be banned. The Constitution must be rewritten to ban you from doing this and so forth. Right?
Who said that, Dr. Thompson?
Well, if it ain't in the Constitution, therefore it doesn't pertain. It does not stop it.
You just really put words in my mouth that I didn't even have thoughts of saying.
Dianna was supporting that whole
No, Dianna didn't say nothing either. I didn't even think of that.
Let me answer for myself.
I didn't even think of that.
No, why no man? I got to say because yes or no.
Answer for yourself.
Which one?
Okay, we let you answer for yourself.
Which
we
one?
Let you answer for
if
yourself.
they should be involved in party politics?
No, I'm saying it must go both ways too.
Both ways.
Right?
How?
You see, my whole thing is that yes, you may have your personal choice, right? And that is your right as an individual, as a citizen, right? The one thing that I would always say is that yes, they should say. So, and this is the day I'm speaking about is persons in leadership positions in church, right? Advocate for persons to vote yes, because everybody should exercise their democratic choice in that regard. But in terms of influence, who to vote for, no. And even if you have a political position, you don't need to let it be known because you're already in a position of influence and persons are more than likely going to be guided by you. And you know the people who we look up to?
Yeah.
Preachers, well, I don't know if politicians still on the list, but at least politicians, teachers,
what about
etc.
bosses? What if you are a business owner and you employ 200 people?
Even then, I don't think that's you shouldn't.
Should you be influencing the people in some way, one way or the other?
No.
Okay.
My answer to that is no.
If you are a team leader, community leader, right? In a sports in a sports council or organization, should you in some way try to influence the people around you and so forth? You know what I mean?
You mean where is it going to end if we continue like this?
If you are a lead fisherman, right?
Because Dr. Thompson, when we bring in Christians, we are talking about people who preach about God and what God is about, love and unity. You cannot compare football coach and boss, because I didn't come here to hear my boss preach about the Bible. And when I came here, nobody cared whether I go to church or I don't go to church.
True.
What was important is what I have to offer the job.
True.
So when it comes to church, is a different thing and it's a different argument. It's completely different.
I agree. I was going down the list of these things because these individuals may be influential in some way. And business owners do try to influence at times. They have no right to say they're going to fire you if you don't do that. And they could speak to you and you could smile and say, yes, and go do something else. You know what I mean? He has no right to do it. But, I believe that is the way in which we, if somebody is going to get married to somebody, and they start asking somebody like their parents, what do you think of this individual? The person say, me not like he or no. You understand? Or other people say, you ain't know where he come from and which village he come from and this, the other. The influence of people on others is something that is real, right? And where do you stop the line? But I hear what you're saying. Everyone else could try it, not preachers.
Yes,
you understand?
Because their mission is different. Understand? They're coming from God and say God is holy and divine, and God says you must love one another and you must be united. And then you're coming, you're preaching on your pulpit telling me I must be united with my brother and my sister, and then tomorrow morning you're going on a different mic.
You're going on the platform.
No, and you must is the best party, or NDP is the party for the nation.
And not just that, is when it comes to
Dianna, I want to ask you,
which is division.
I want to ask you your honest truth.
Yeah, man.
When have you've heard a preacher say that?
Means
No. You've gone and said something.
I have not heard any preacher. I was making
I know you're. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
Whether you've heard. You tell me his name. Tell me her name. The preacher who's come out and said, "Do this, do that, do the other." There may be elders in a church. They may have their own position. They may be deacons. They may be choir leaders. They may be the best singer or the best usher, or whatever it might be. There may be other persons, but I'm not doubting there aren't preachers who do that, but I have not heard too many.
So you're not doubting that there are preachers who do that. What are your thoughts on preachers who do that?
Well, hear what I just said. I don't think there are too many. I think that
no. Answer the first part.
I wanted to point out. I'm trying not to select preachers. I'm saying that there are far more. Elon Musk.
All right, so it's no orthodox. So if there are preachers who are influencing persons to do it, what are your thoughts in just relation to that alone?
I think the preachers can have their own views and can influence other people, influence their wife, influence their kids, and so forth.
Who to vote for?
Because they also see beyond the faith
speaking to your wife is a little different because you're not going to go on a pulpit and speak to your
other
wife
people. I talked about wife. They would start with something and their kids and their other.
But going on a pulpit and influencing persons, telling persons who to vote for.
If you listen to me, I said that I am sure I've not heard many preachers do that. So if there are some,
right?
If there are some, it's not necessarily wrong. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily wrong, but I do not think that it's as rampant as we're trying to make it out to be. On the other hand, there are many other people, professions that do go. They may not, these days you don't see them so much on the rostrum because you need the politicians who are on the rostrum and maybe one or two other top supporters. It is more that going in the community, in the same way that I go for a confession, or same way I go to my pastor, say, Pastor, boy, I'm having a tough time with money, boy. I need $20 and you could help me and so forth, or you could bless me because I ain't got no food today. And we have a kitchen thing that you come back at lunchtime, or the preacher may kick out the $20 and give. And a discussion may take place about what take place on the
and then coming out to the discussion. The preacher who, let's say, is of the persuasion of being ULP. ULP, and the preacher says, well, under the ULP they have these measures, and if you choose and if you vote for them, you may not have to be coming to us to get money. What are your thoughts in relation to that? If they come across like that,
preachers are usually much more astute than that. And basically, in terms of how they influence persons, but I'm still coming back to the thing. There are business leaders. There are people all over the place who are doing the same. And it's a fundamental right to be able to exercise your own right as well. So I'm still coming back.
So you're right to influence other persons on who to vote for. That's what you mean?
I am saying that if I'm a business owner, and Dianne, you've talked about this. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to threaten you to say if you don't vote this, but I can try and influence you because I won't have a right to do so. And you could try and influence me back.
And at the same time, if my boss or my football coach or my netball coach were to do that to me, in my mind, I would just think of them as whoever they are doing what they're doing. I wouldn't think too much of it. But if my pastor were to do that to me while he's speaking to me in my mind, I would be saying, but how this man here could be telling me about this thing here and he just don't come off the pulpit telling me. I would think of it as not okay as if my boss were to do it because I ain't looking at my boss as no Christian figure to influence me to live right.
So your boss may not be sitting in the front row and maybe a deacon in the church. He may not be a pastor.
Well, if my boss is
but hear what? He goes up and does some testimony. No, he gives a nice, at the end of the month, his tithes are large because of the percentage, 10% and so forth. He gives, so he feels basically influential in some way. And they have a lot of it. Matter of fact, they have influence on who becomes the pastor. Pastors have been removed and so forth because of a lot of reasons, but have been removed because they haven't had that vote, the internal vote within the church. They want somebody else. They're not dynamic enough. Their voice is too soft.
I am still not equating a man of God to my boss.
Well, put it this way.
All right, I am not equating because I am going to quicker take direction from the. Well,
I have
with all my faculties intact, I am going to take direction from.
I'm not equating them. I'm not equating them. I am putting all these things down. The pastor is the person who may often be delivering that sermon and so forth. But there are other people who have great faith as well, who are part of the church. They're there. They will die for the church. They're Christian soldiers marching on. You know what I mean? They will be there. And so they have a right to have their views too. So I'm trying to see why do
But
we
you
say-
can't have your views, but you don't necessarily need to have your views to influence somebody else, especially when you are in certain positions.
And you can have contrasting views, Dr. Thompson.
You can have definitely contrasting views. It doesn't mean everybody. I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. I would tell people, cut out that sugar. They think they're studying me. You're saying some of them studying me? Some of them will. Many of them will.
If you're a doctor encouraging people to drink soda, when you tell you must drink up some soda, man, I hear such and such just make some nice juice. Let's go take. I would start to question because I would think, why would this? Exactly.
So that is why she would question.
Exactly.
But that is why she would question why is it
Dianna, you will question it, but then somebody else next to you will say, he's right,
Because the person needs some information. They need to be educated a little bit before they say.
But what you're saying?
So here, let me ask you this one thing.
It isn't that the doctor will tell drink soda. It's not the preacher will say do this. The influence comes about that there's nothing wrong with talking and expressing your views to someone else who is willing to listen and engage in a conversation.
A one-off comments, I could probably slide.
One-off
But going on a pulpit and preaching and maybe repeating it, I would have a problem.
I ask you again. You have not. You've expressed. You've heard a lot of these things online churches. You've heard online churches, preachers pushing outside the Christian nationalism in the United States, where that has been happening, Frank, right there. And saying outside the Muslim faith and so forth. Have you heard that online churches in St. Vincent and Grenadines? I'm asking you.
Okay, so we have a call coming in.
I think it's the same person.
Oh, okay. Hi, caller. Good morning.
Yeah, well, I was told to call back, so I'm calling back. I called before, but the machine said the line was speaking.
Okay.
Yes, so I am back.
Right.
Dr. Thompson, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
You didn't ask us how we doing it, how you reaching out first.
How are you? Well, Dr. Thompson, my friend, but he doesn't know my voice.
Yes.
Thompson, my name is Adolphus Delflesh.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Delflesh.
Okay, I met Dianna one time.
I was just being told.
I saw Roleza last week in at Voyagers.
Indeed, you did.
I was talking to Annette, so I was there.
Yes.
So I know the people, but the people don't know me.
Well, I knew you, but I didn't realize that you knew me. So, so good. We're meeting everybody. All right, good.
Yeah, I know your mother. Your mother is my good friend too.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I taught her mother. Let me tell you that.
I heard you say that.
Sorry, bring it up.
I always felt that you could have been a good defense lawyer. I always felt so.
Me, oh gosh.
I think he's heard this before.
As I was saying, politics, and this is not my original. This is a professor from, I think it's Nigeria. He's a PhD political scientist. I was doing some reading and I came across it and I liked it. He said that people are saying politics is a game, but politics is no game. Politics, as I said, is the organization of the people's business for the benefit of the people. However you want to put it, party politics, domestic politics, home politics, office politics is the organization of the people's business for the benefit of the people. Church and politics, too.
Not true.
Church politics is the organization of the church's business for the benefit of the people. Isn't it so? For the benefit, that's the bottom line. For the benefit, people should be able to benefit from you organizing their business and everybody benefits. If there's one mango, everybody gets a slice of it. Or you make the mango bigger, everybody gets a piece. Not some getting the skin, some getting the seed, and some getting the flesh. That's not politics. That's what we practice.
And if it's party politics, it's who for my side go get the mango.
There's no difference. Because if politics is something you go to university and you study, you get a degree in it. Politics is a kind of profession. You know, some professionals, you have some masons who are not very good. You have some doctors, Dr. Thompson, who are not very good. You have some lawyers who are not very good. But the profession can be a good one. If we practice it as it should be practiced. Don't you think?
Correct, but we're dealing with the reality of what is.
We're not looking for perfection,
and I agree.
We will not find that. But we can be good, aren't we?
It can be, but we're also looking at the reality of what is.
We are looking at the reality. We are looking at the reality with the aspiration for it to change, aren't we?
Well, I would agree with that point.
Yeah.
With that point, with the aspirations of it changing, but
discussion ought to bring about positive change, not to be spinning around like in circle and spinning up in mud as well. Is to flesh it out and say, well, here do we need to improve. Here we need to get better. That's why I discuss things. I didn't discuss things to just go around in a circle and come around and I alone dominating. No. Discussion to flesh out, get ideas, and go forward. Now, I am agreeing with you guys that I don't think a preacher should go on the pulpit and preach politics. I don't think so. In terms of party political politics. We live in a society like, you imagine somebody going to soak a moon at night and start to preach? Huh? There's a place and a time for everything. There's a place and a time for everything. You imagine somebody on Juve morning or some pastor man going wrong tongue in a church and preaching? How'd I go look? Wrong place, wrong time. That's my take on it.
All right. Thanks. I do agree with that.
Could I ask a caller? If it's a wrong place, wrong time, and I totally agree with you. That's why I've asked the question, how often has Dianna and Roleza seen that, heard that? Because I don't think it takes place in that degree. You know, pastors are too discreet and they would understand when they're going into the fire. Right. But however,
some are very loose.
Right. You're right about that. If a parishioner, a family went to a preacher and they're sitting down chatting, and the preacher, they're at their home or whatever the case may be, or they're in a park or they're at a picnic, and the preacher is not on a pulpit but is expressing some views, right? Is that incorrect? In other words, you mentioned about expressing views on a pulpit, which should be a no-no. But what about at the church picnic, or just not at the church picnic, at some other event? Because preachers are supposed to go everywhere. You know what I mean?
I would say anywhere except the pulpit.
Why? Should it be? Should it be nowhere? Should it be? And the preacher should never anywhere.
No, I think he's in a personal capacity.
You're not understanding me.
Yeah.
I am saying to you, the preacher can express, in my view, this is his political whatever influence order anywhere except on the pulpit.
Yes. I heard you.
A social setting is the best place to do it. A picnic is a social setting. That's the best place to do it, in my opinion.
Yes.
He has that right. He's a member of society. He wants to organize the people's business for the benefit of the people. That's what he should be aiming for.
Yeah, but what would you say if somebody were to say, because he is a preacher, pastor, not a deacon, not somebody who preaches every once a month or once every 2 months and so forth, that if he basically says anything at all, it is wrong for him to do. What would you say to that?
It is not wrong, in my opinion.
All right. Okay. All right. That's
social setting, it is not wrong.
I still think that even that is a bit tricky in a sense, because once you have a position of influence, even in a personal or social setting, you are still going to be that type of individual to the others around.
Yeah, well,
so it is a bit tricky.
And that's what we use to get our message, because the preacher on the pulpit is using his influence to get you to accept Christ, using the word of God. So it's about influence. Influence is the oxygen, the energy that's being used. But you in a social setting, you're an equal stage.
Delpesh, I wish
I
you
have a question for Mr. Delpesh and Mr. Thompson. Since we are mentioning, different time, different place, and if the preacher is not at church or on the pulpit, it's a different setting. So I could be an Adventist preacher Sabbath morning and preaching down about the Sabbath and keeping the Sabbath and all things Adventist. And Monday morning I operate at Square selling roast pork. Because it's a different time, it's a different place. I mean, I'm a human being in society. I want to make some money.
Let's put it
You understand?
Let's put it this way. Mr. Delpesh, if you're a pastor and you're married and you have some woman on the side, clearly that's wrong. And the same thing.
Because it's contrary to your
preaching. It's contrary to thing. If you are going out at night and burglaring and burglarizing other, if you be part of committing murder, the 6th commandment and the 8th commandment, theft and stealing, clearly, Dianna, you're wrong.
So what about thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself? Because if my neighbor is NDP and I'm ULP and I'm chanting down my neighbor, clearly I am not loving my neighbor as myself.
Well, that shouldn't be chanting down.
And telling my neighbor to support my party and your party is stupid and my party is the better party and all. They don't have no right thinking.
I more look at it in terms of
preachers. A person, an ordinary person might do that, but a pastor is much more much more discreet.
Sophisticated words to say the same thing.
Dr. Thompson, there are some pastors who will do that.
Huh?
There are some pastors who will do that.
Yes, I'm saying so. But I'm agreeing with you, Mr. Delpesh. I tell you, there are a lot of callers and so forth,
and we have to take the break.
I agree.
I don't want to
Mr. Caller, you should be sitting in this seat here right now. Let me tell you that too. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
All right, folks. Interesting conversation. And for persons who are trying to get in before, we apologize, but we really and truly are 10 minutes over the time. Okay, so this was as usual a healthy discussion, and we hold with points, right? We stand in firm and we points. We stand in firm.
No, there's been some movement.
No, there hasn't been. There has not been. You started up a whole new discussion.
Before you were saying absolutely no. Now you're saying you use the word where you say, oh, well, okay, the possibilities.
Possibility of what, Doc? No, I can't even go to the break before I get this point. What you say?
I forgot the word you. Let's move on. Move on.
People don't listen to Doc. I'm standing in my position, all right? The time here at SVG, it is 9:10.